Hey, animal chiropractic friends, Dr. Amy here. Is your business dependent upon accepting patients that are primarily the disaster of someone else's choice? By that I mean, are the owners having trouble keeping their animal healthy and alive? Did some other doctor try or make attempts at solving this issue and not be able to resolve it? Is your practice basically a fire engine practice? Are you spending most of your time only seeing patients more routinely because they are very, very ill? I'm Dr. Amy Hayek, president and co-founder at Animal Chiropractic Education Source, where we train veterinarians and chiropractors to build successful animal chiropractic practices. Many doctors that we've spoken with, both veterinarians and chiropractors, and even some animal chiropractors, find that the majority of their patients are very, very ill, very, very old, and at the end of their rope. Oftentimes, those doctors are the last hope for that animal. Here at Animal Chiropractic Education Source, we train veterinarians and chiropractors to build a practice that is centered around seeing patients sooner and seeing them before the disaster strikes, so that they are able to mitigate it and help those clients create a successful plan to keep their animals from becoming part of that disaster relief project. Now, sometimes things just happen. I mean, let's face it, chiropractic is not going to fix a broken bone. Chiropractic is not going to suture a wound. But animal chiropractic is the choice of treatment for those animals when they're puppies, when they're adults, when they're athletic, when they have a job, when they are doing a service. All of those animals, or when they're chickens, all of those animals benefit from a chiropractic adjustment on a regular basis before the damage occurs, before they become ill, before they become injured, before the chronic illness is set in. It may be difficult for their owners to understand this, and that is where you come in. That is where understanding how chiropractic care can help those animals thrive and survive is a benefit to those owners. It also helps those owners understand what they are saving in the long term. We see patients all the time that come because they have potential torn cruciates, because they have damaged, maybe a damaged leg, maybe their hocks are damaged, maybe all of these things. They're unable to eat because they can't put their head down. I could go on and on. And one of the reasons they come to us is that they feel that we might be their last hope. We might be the way that we can save them from euthanasia or from, permanent retirement. Those animals benefit not only from chiropractic, but they actually go on to thrive and survive. We have one patient in our practice who a year ago this December was on that list of, it may be time to retire this dog. She can't eat, she's terrible, she can't stand up, she's not doing well. This is a competitive dog. This is a dog who was doing some amazing work, and in movies and in the show ring. And here's what happened. They came to us, and we helped them with that dog through the darkest part of the year. One of the reasons many of those injuries and chronic illnesses show up in the darkest part of the year is the lack of sunlight. It's the lack of better nutrition through the year. It's the lack of continued response. And it may be an injury. So some injuries happen as easily as at birth, and they can be carried out through the rest of that dog's life or through that horse's life, and may not show up as a chronic illness or injury until later. That magic 7 years is old thing for dogs and for horses oftentimes has to do with an accumulation of inflammatory components within the body that the animal wasn't able to get rid of because there's the subluxations that they achieved, there's a good word, the subluxations that they accrued at birth have finally caught up with them, and they are now experiencing the bigger part of that inflammatory component. At Animal Chiropractic Education Source, we send those patients, when they call us from all over the country, we send them to our students. We send them to our graduates who we know will be able to assist in draining that inflammatory process through adjusting that spine and allowing that fluid, allowing that nervous system, allowing the information to all get put where it belongs. Much of it in waste products out of the body. Sometimes we know that if an animal chiropractor adjusts an animal too much, that means too much too soon, then that animal may have a harder time getting rid of those waste products. And this time of year is key for that. If you have an animal that has chronic illness that's starting to show up now, that illness comes with it a lot of waste materials that are stuck inside the body. And in order to get rid of it, it takes a process and some time. That is why animal chiropractic is not a one-time adjustment. It is a process through which we help that animal recover from sometimes a lifelong accumulation of inflammatory processes that have been in their environment. That's why we send them to our graduates, because they understand that process and they know that they will be able to help educate the client and help the client over time understand how that animal can improve. If you are a veterinarian or a chiropractor who spends a lot of time helping others who have animals that have accumulated a lot of waste products over time, at this time of year in particular, those animals who have been, they're aged, they've been rode hard and put away wet, they've had a tough life, and this time of year you're starting to see those injuries, illnesses, and damage. Maybe they are hurting themselves by accident, because accidents are also a product of a poor decision. And if that animal's nervous system isn't functioning and firing very well, they won't make very good decisions because they are fatigued, they're weak. Because of those things, animal chiropractic is a great way to help those animals make it through the dark part of the year. Back to that dog. So she came to us this time last year, actually a little bit later in the season, in November, December. We saw her Christmas Day with some issues and illness, and we adjusted her. But we didn't over adjust her. We adjusted just particular parts so that she could rid herself of the waste materials. She got rid of her spondylosis that we saw in x-ray. We saw x-rays yesterday. It's gone. And not only is the spondylosis gone, she's back up to her normal self, and she's due to give birth to 5 or 6 brand new puppies. Yes. So she has lived out that legacy of being able to overcome illness, because the body is meant to heal itself. When we allow the body to get rid of the waste materials appropriately, it can do its own thing. And that's the job of chiropractic. Chiropractic helps that body get rid of that waste material. If you're a veterinarian or a chiropractor who has yet to add animal chiropractic to your practice, find us at animalchiropracticeducation.com. But if you're an animal chiropractor who is stuck with some of those cases that seem to be the worst of the worst, the last hope for those animals, and you need some assistance not only in helping those cases, but building a practice that is really and truly centered around seeing all of the patients in your area, not just the worst of the worst, find me at amyhayek.com. Coaching is what you need to change that practice, to recreate the practice that you love and that you desire. Find me at amyhayek.com.